Hello, welcome back. Today we have another amazing client interview with Anish Admakor. Now, before the accelerator, Anish had zero internships on his resume, nothing paid. And after the program, we got him an amazing $32 per hour internship at Niagara Bottling Company. And Anish was even an international student, something that people always ask me is, hey, Aman, does this actually work for international students? Well, the proof is in the pudding. It definitely does. Without further ado, let's hear from Anish. All right, Anish, thanks for doing this. First of all, I want to say congratulations. Amazing offer. I know you posted about that and super proud of you. But this is going to be a quick interview where we kind of talk about your experience in the program, and then I'll ask you a couple of questions about where you were before, during, and after.
Right, of course.
Awesome. So, Anish, kind of tell me, when did you join the program? I believe you came in somewhere, maybe September, August. And what was your background before? What school did you go to? What did you major in? And what was your background?
Yeah, so I joined the program in the first week of September, and I just started my third year as a computer science major at UCLA. So that was kind of when I first joined the program, and sort of at the starting point, I didn't really sort of understand a lot about the internship process, especially in the US, because I'm an international student. So, sort of, I kind of didn't really start with much. I didn't have many things on my resume. It was unorganized. So my starting spot was a little bit rough, and I didn't really know where to move forward in general. So that's kind of why I wanted to join the program in the first place.
Absolutely. And speaking of that starting point, what was your resume like before you joined? So you said you were a computer science student. I believe you said you were at UCLA.
Yeah.
You're in your third year currently, right?
Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay. So how many internships have you done? Did you have any internships? Did you have any experience before you joined?
so I had a one unpaid internship experience, and that was it.
Hmm.
So that was pretty much all I started with. I just had a few projects on there that I worked on over the summer, a little bit of open source experience, but nothing really, not really too much on there.
Hmm. Got it. And how did you feel about the internship process? This is, I feel like it's one thing to like know what's on your resume, but then also people have certain emotions about whether it's, hey, I feel really confident, I feel like I can do this, versus, oh, I'm not sure if this is gonna happen, versus, oh, I have no clue what's going on. Like on that spectrum, where do you feel like you were before you joined the program?
I was definitely on a little bit more on the unsure side, just because I just didn't know enough about it, and all I keep hearing is about how difficult it is to land an internship, especially with the market and as an international student. So I keep getting fed the idea that it's really, really hard. So I was really unsure when I first walked into the program.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's talk a bit about your application process before. I'm not sure if you applied a bunch before you joined. You definitely told me that on the call. I just don't remember because it was a few months ago. But tell me, had you applied for a bunch of internships, or was it more like you were getting ready to get started before you joined?
So I was, are you saying if I applied for internships my sophomore year or if I applied before the program started?
Maybe both. Like, why don't you tell me about your sophomore year application history and then also before the program started?
Yeah, so sophomore year I got referrals for like big companies, but I didn't land any interviews through those referrals. I had maybe about 100 applications in total, and got maybe one like two online assessments, and that was it. And those didn't go any further. But it wasn't until I saw your Stairway to Software Heaven that I understood like how what the steps actually should look like. Um, so I think. Yeah, up until then, I didn't really get any interviews or anything like that, and I didn't really apply over the summer. I was kind of just getting ready, like trying to prepare my resume for applying this recruitment season.
Hmm. Yeah, awesome. So let's go into your decision to join the program. What actually motivated you to book that call? I know everybody comes through a different path, so I wanted to ask, well, if you remember, what were those steps you took to what did you see, and what decided you to like influence you to actually book that consultation call?
So I think the first thing was I was like I was just looking around for advice online. But the most confusing thing was I'm getting very like kind of contradicting advice. So I'm getting a lot of things that are like it's a little bit unclear. Like everyone's telling me so many things to do, and I don't know which one's most important or what to prioritize. And I kind of enjoyed like watching your videos; those helped me out a lot. I feel like the advice there was literally like I feel like I could have trust the advice. And sort of a big thing for me was like the biggest factor was like how confident you were and sort of being able to get me an internship, like the rule that you would be like willing to pay back all the money if I was to not get an internship, that was sort of what like, okay, I have nothing to lose here. Like either I get an internship, which is probably will make me more money than what I'm paying for the program, or I'm just gonna get my money back and just get some free advice. So so I think that's what really like led me to sort of join the first consultation call.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we have that.
Right,
Because it's
right.
like I wanted to make it clear that I'm very confident this stuff really does work if people
Yeah,
do it. And so much so that if you just do what I say and it doesn't work, I'm happy to just refund you. So yeah, I feel like that definitely does help that decision to join. Speaking of that
absolutely.
decision, do you have any hesitations in general about joining the program?
I was a little bit unsure as to whether this is just sort of like applicable to Americans or if it actually helps out international students too. Because I thought maybe like I have a different set of difficulties like doing like so example, like some of your things were like sending out applications to these specific companies, but when I look at these companies, they're like, oh, we won't sponsor for international students and things like that. So it just that was sort of a worry for me, sort of getting over that mental hurdle itself, which was honestly way bigger in my head than it was in like the actual application process. Um, and any other concerns? I think that was about it. I think after I joined your consultation call, I was able to understand a lot more about what the program actually was. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And speaking of that, fear about the international student thing, I actually get that question a lot because people see the reviews on the website. Of course, I'm a US citizen, so a lot of
Yeah.
international students who might benefit from the program are worried, is this not going to work for me? So I wanted to ask, as an international student who did the program and got an internship, what do you have to say about that? Do you feel like the program is useful to international students and non-international students alike?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like it's definitely a little bit like blown up the idea that it's much harder for international students, but you don't know until you actually try. So when you actually try, you realize actually a lot of the companies that you're applying for, they all have the strength to sponsor visas and things like that. It's not nearly as big of a factor as those international students make it out to be. And but you won't realize that until you actually try. So you can always just sit back and think about how hard it is, but once you actually give it a shot, you realize, oh, these companies aren't actually like discriminating me too much in the application process, and you just almost have nearly as good of a chance as like normal Americans do. It's just that like you can apply for certain companies just because of the visa sponsorship rule, but that's about it. Like
Yeah.
like it doesn't make it impossible.
100%. And another perspective I tend to have when it comes to this is why would it be different for an international student other than just it was a little bit harder, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's not like
exactly.
you're a different field, right? It's the same field, it's just a bit harder, right? So I don't understand why, from my perspective at least, this advice for me definitely feels like it would work for international students, and it has. It just maybe you have to work a bit harder, which that's a reality of things, but it's not like the advice doesn't apply anymore, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So that's great to hear that you felt like it was useful. Let's go into your actual experience in the program. So let's go kind of step by step by step. We'll start with the resume and LinkedIn review. So how did you feel like that was, and did you feel like that was useful?
Yeah, that was actually really important for me. I think I was sort of like it kind of helped me overcome some misconceptions and misunderstandings I had in my head. Like coming into the program, I thought the biggest part of my resume was like the GitHub projects I had or like the project section. But just like it was you that told me that to prioritize like experience and like trying to collect experience and things like that instead and like how to frame my LinkedIn, how to be more active on my LinkedIn, and all those things. Like all of that information was new to me, and so I kind of overcame some like existing mindset, and sort of like it was sort of like wrong because this is like it was like that mindset was built from things like people have told me on the internet that of what you should do, but once I understand what you should actually properly do, there was a big difference for my resume and LinkedIn.
Awesome. And did you feel like those changes you made, because a lot of people they're like, "Oh, I've already worked on my resume. I've already had a few friends and family review it. I'm okay. I don't need to worry about this." Do you feel
Yeah.
like the changes you made really did translate into a better chance to getting an offer?
Oh, absolutely. I think Like if you just saw my resume from the start of the program to how it is now, it's a huge difference. Like all the things that I didn't find important were actually pretty important, like such as spacing, formatting, like putting in your coursework and things like that. So it like even when I got referrals for certain companies, they would just straight up give me an interview just because of how well formatted my resume would be. So I think that like if I did that with my initial resume, that definitely would not have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go into the LinkedIn referral help. So how did you feel like the LinkedIn, review, also referral strategy and preparation? How did you feel like that was in terms of helping you get that offer?
So I think this is the part where I kind of struggled a little bit, was sort of getting referrals through LinkedIn. I was definitely able to expand my network a lot.
Hmm.
But I think this is kind of unique for me. I have a lot of family that works in tech. So the first part of the referral program was actually reaching out to all friends and family members, to see if they can get you a referral. And so what actually happened was is I just reached out to a few people and it kind of like branched out. So I kind of like was able to contact a lot more people by just like contacting a few, oh, do you know anybody? And they'll send me a few more contact numbers. And suddenly I like branch out. Now I have like 100 contacts with people from different companies and I could reach out. Like if I showed you my document, that's like all like distant family or family friends and things like that. And each of them works for a different company. And I was able to maybe secure like just 15, 20 referrals just through that. And that got me like an interview all the way to the final round for KLA. Um, so in terms of that, that was good. I think the fact that I had that sort of made me less motivated to work on referrals through the LinkedIn itself. But now that I've sort of kind of like milked those referrals, I'm still applying. But as I've milked those referrals, I see how that strategy would also be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, that is why we start with your friends and family, right? And I've
Yeah.
talked about this publicly too. It is so
Yeah.
much easier when you already
Yes.
have 10, 15, 20 people on your phone that you could already message who already know you and might know other people as well. So you did the right
Absolutely.
thing, man. Like I would never tell you to go for our LinkedIn strategy before working through those warm connections first. So
Yeah.
you did the right
Yep.
thing. That's amazing. And that's great. And that kind of shows like we try to focus on all aspect of things. We're going to work through your warm connections. If anybody's watching this video, they can look at other reviews to talk about the cold aspect of things. But yeah, 100%. I'm glad that it was able to work out. Now,
Absolutely.
let's tackle the mock interview aspect of things. We have both coding and behavioral that we cover. So I wanted to ask, how did you feel about those? I'm not sure if you did the coding ones because our lead code coach handles that, but how did you feel about the mock interview process?
So most of the interviews I got were behavioral. So I kind of did just mock behavioral interviews with you. And so after I did that, so obviously I keep hearing about the STAR method, but like after actually hearing some examples from you, I like actually understood how it should actually be formatted. Instead of literally like I think I was a little bit too rigid when I first came into it. It's like, oh, STAR and like making sure I follow it like super fully. But like I think you showed me like a sense of flexibility when it came to the interview. So it's not like once I get to the interview, I like freeze up. You kind of just showed me how to like be flexible, like have a couple of stories I can adapt to each question and things like that. So those strategies really helped me. I didn't do the coding interviews, but I did get hit with some leak code questions in my interviews, which I wasn't expecting actually. But I was able to solve them thanks to your leak code set of questions you gave in the beginning. And
Awesome.
so, yeah, it was literally the same one that was on there. So I
Really?
just knew
Wow.
I'll be solving that one on there. Yeah, so that was lucky. Um, and so that was the same interview that got me this offer. So,
That's
yeah.
amazing. Tell me more about that. How did you feel about the leak code prep? Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I feel like I'm weak at leak code, but I can kind of just watch me code." So, did
Yeah.
you feel like it was helpful to have like a roadmap, to have some guidance, and onto actually how to approach this and work on that?
Absolutely. So I think first when I went into Leak Code, you like see those things on the Leak Code websites, whether it's like top 150 interview questions and things like that. But that honestly takes a lot of time. And sometimes as a UCLA student, like sometimes you just don't have time to do all those questions. And you don't put in enough effort for each question. So just being able to like have that just concise set that I can work on, that covers every single topics. I really appreciated how it covered every single like data structure and where to apply them. And you only need to see a few examples to understand where to apply each of them. So once you sort of were able to sort of understand what data structure to apply, you already have something to work with for any question that you receive in an interview. Um, so once I sort of had that, it made that a lot easier for my interview process.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds great. So let's talk about the actual interviews you got. So I think you mentioned last year, before you joined the program when you were a sophomore, you got a couple of OAs but no real interviews. This cycle, tell me about your stats now. So like, how many applications did you put out? How many live interviews did you get? And then let's talk about the offer you got.
Yeah. So I think I'm sort of going to describe a little bit of a story here about what happened with my program. I applied for a Norwegian company, it's probably like it's like a leading energy company in Norway. And so this was a company I really wanted to work for, and I made it all the way to the final round. I thought I did really good. I did my behavioral prep with you. And so I did that. And so unfortunately, I became overconfident. I thought that I would definitely get the offer, so I sort of slacked on the program a little bit. I wasn't really work I was just making sure my schoolwork was fine, working on social goals and all those sort of things. But I didn't really but I wasn't really working on the program too much. But then I got my rejection from that company. And so that was sort of a real hit to me. But fortunately, before I had that interview with that company, you told me to go to a career fair, which I did. And then through that career fair, I got a referral for this company, Niagara Bottling, and that's the same one that gave me the offer. So if I didn't go to the career fair, I would have just been like, I would have just been rejected from that one offer, and I would have been late, and so everything would have been like way more stressful. But luckily through the career fair that you told me to go to, despite me failing the other interview, I was able to get another one and actually prepare hard for that and actually pass that one. In addition to that, I started going through your referral program immediately. I started getting 10, 20 referrals in like 2, 3 weeks, and then sent those applications out. So overall I got 3 interviews, two three final round interviews. They all went to the final round, and one of them became an offer. And I'm still waiting to hear back from another one. So,
Amazing.
overall, it was only about 20 applications, and I was able
Wow.
to. Yeah,
Damn. So yeah, I think that's another aspect of it. I think you really took to heart the fact that we don't want you to shotgun apply to just random roles. And
yeah,
I think you really went for the referral system, which definitely worked. I mean, 20 applications, 3 full interviews, and then at least one offer after
yeah.
that is amazing. That's those are great results there, especially the year before when you said you submitted like 100 applications and had 2 OAs and no real interviews. So
Exactly. So that
that's an
sniper
amazing
mentality
level up.
definitely worked. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. That's great to hear. So let's talk about your offer. You said it's at Niagara Bottling. Could you kind of tell me more about it? So where is it based? What's the salary, and how do you feel about the whole result at the end of the day?
Absolutely. So, it was first a phone screening. So first, the HR department would call me and just like ask some general questions, what sort of clubs I'm engaged in, what I'm doing with my free time, ask some questions about my resume. And then I wanted a half-hour interview with 3 team members at Niagara Bottling. Um, and so one was like an AI machine learning engineer, another one would work in sort of the data science department. And so they all interviewed me for 30 minutes, and then I was able to pass the interview. And the last section was just a leak code question. And I was able to pass the interview successfully. And so now I'm going to be working in Diamond Bar in LA over the summer. It's a 3-month program, 40 hours a week. $32 an hour. It's going to be with data science projects and also like AI and machine learning projects as well. So I get to cover both of those. They were a little bit unspecific about what my duties are in specific, but I'm really happy. Like it's my first paid internship offer, and honestly, like my biggest goal, like coming in, was just I just want to get paid over the summer for doing some data science or tech work. Like that was my biggest role, to get paid for some experience. And so I definitely achieved that. I think now that I have an offer, it's easy to think, oh, I should have applied for better companies. I could have maybe done better and all those things. But I'm super grateful for where I'm at. And honestly, it relieves a lot of stress from both me and my family, especially because they said that they would also give me a full-time offer after the internship. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So this internship could this could be your job.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, after working there, I want to make a decision of whether or not I want to stay there and things like
Hmm.
that. But honestly, it's a really good stepping stone for me. And it's, I guess, my first real like taste of success in the field. So I'm really happy
Wow,
for sure.
that's amazing, man. And honestly, I'm so happy for you. I can hear it in your voice. I can hear that you definitely are very relieved, but also excited for where this goes. So, congratulations again. This is why I do this. This
Yeah,
honestly makes
right.
my day to see people like
Thank you
you who
so
are
much. I couldn't have
so
done it without your
excited. And
support.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
was amazing,
absolutely.
man. And
Yeah, I
honestly,
mean, if you didn't tell me to go to the career fair and give me all that advice that I needed, I don't know if I would have locked an offer by now. So
yeah.
honestly, it was only with your advice I was able to come so far. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Um,
No, yeah, you're welcome, man. And that, yeah, just to hear that, that just motivates me to continue to grow this and help more people. So, I guess final
yeah.
question here is where do you see yourself going? You said you're gonna still maybe still put out the application, see what happens. And just kind of I guess now since you have that internship, you've already achieved that base level. Now your mind is probably going to different companies and different full-time offers in the next few years. So, where is your mind at currently when it comes to software engineering?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I think I sort of now have like a nice like cushion. So I can sort of just start aiming for the top. Just trying my chances at some better companies, and if I land them, I do. If I don't, that's okay. Hopefully pick up some more interview experience. Just make me just um and try get some more referrals. And honestly, I think those referrals, like even if I don't get the interviews, I can use those referrals for my actual job application process, which is probably going to start in just like 6, 7 months. So all those referrals and all the things that I'm doing now is still going to help me in the future. So there's no reason for me to stop, especially when applying for full-time offers. So I think that's where headed at right now.
Awesome. Well, Anish, again, congratulations. Great result. And it was great to catch up and talk here. And yeah, keep in touch. You're still in the program for the entire year, I think, or something. So
Yeah,
feel free to post
absolutely.
any questions along the way. Happy to support you. And any other offers come through, just let us know. And congratulations, man. And take care. Have a great, happy holidays.